In 1864, while the war tore a nation in half, there was a child no one wrote about. No uniform. No weapon. No freedom. He belonged to a plantation where silence was survival and obedience was law. He learned early not to ask questions, not to look people in the eye, not to dream out loud. Dreams were dangerous things for children like him. Every morning began the same way. Bare feet on cold earth. A name shouted that was not his own. Work that never ended. Pain that was never explained. But history never warns you when everything is about to change. One night, long after the lamps went dark and the house slept, the child heard something that did not belong. A sound. Not wind. Not an animal. A groan. It came from the trees at the edge of the field, soft, broken, human. The child froze. Running away was forbidden. Helping was worse. Slaves who ran were hunted. Slaves who helped them disappeared. Still, the sound came again. Closer. The child moved before fear could stop him. He slipped into the shadows, heart pounding so loud he was sure the night could hear it. Beneath the moonlight, he saw a shape collapsed near the fence. A man. Blood darkened his shirt. One arm hung useless. His breath came in shallow, painful gasps. A runaway. The child had seen men like him before, dragged back in chains, broken worse than when they left. This one would not survive another hour out here. The man opened his eyes and tried to speak. No words came. The child looked back toward the plantation house. Lights were still. No voices. No witnesses. In that moment, the child understood something without knowing the words for it. If he walked away, no one would blame him. If he helped, everything would change. The man reached out, fingers trembling, leaving a smear of blood on the dirt. The child took his hand. And just like that, the secret began. He dragged the wounded man, inch by inch, toward the one place no one ever looked anymore, the old cellar beneath the house, sealed off years ago. Many steps meant danger. The months stretched long and thin. The runaway grew stronger, but never free. His wound healed wrong, leaving his shoulders stiff and his movements slow. He could not run anymore, not fast enough to survive the dogs or the guns. You should go, the child said once. While you still can. The man shook his head. I won't make it far. The child already knew that. He just needed to hear it said. Winter came quietly. Cold slipped into the cellar like a thief. The child brought down scraps of cloth, old sacks, anything that could be wrapped around the man's body. At night, they shared warmth, backs pressed together, breathing slow and careful. Above them, voices talked of war. Names of battles drifted down through the floorboards. Some spoken with pride. Others with fear. The world was changing, but the cellar remained the same, dark, damp, and waiting. Once, soldiers came to the plantation. Their boots were heavier than the owners. Louder. More impatient. The child lay flat as rifles knocked against furniture overhead. A lantern beam spilled through the cracks, cutting lines of light across the dirt floor. The runaway held his breath. So did the child. A dog barked. It sniffed at the cellar door. The child's hand found the man's and squeezed once, hard. The barking faded. The footsteps moved on. They stayed in the dark long after the sounds were gone, afraid that fear itself might make noise. By the 5th month, the secret had changed them both. The runaway stopped thinking of himself as a hunted man. He became a teacher. He taught the child words he had never been allowed to learn. Letters drawn in dirt with a finger. Names written and erased again and again. This one is yours, the man said, tracing it carefully. The child stared at it as if it might vanish. He practiced in secret, lips moving without sound. A name meant you existed. And that was dangerous. The child grew thinner. Work above ground became harder. His eyes stayed on the floor. Unbreakable, that loyalty could survive fear, that one act of compassion could alter the course of a life. He never forgot the nights spent in darkness, the weight of responsibility, the terror of discovery. And yet he never regretted a single day of it. The legacy of those 9 months became a quiet but powerful testament. Stories spread among freed families, teaching children that even in the harshest oppression, humanity could shine. The boy who hid a man became a symbol, not through monuments, but through the lives he touched, through the example he set, through the courage he carried into adulthood. In the end, the child had learned the most important lesson: freedom is not just the absence of chains. Freedom is the courage to protect life, the strength to act when the world demands fear, and the heart to risk everything for another human being. History had tried to bury them both. The plantation, the owner, even the war itself seemed intent on erasing their story. But some truths cannot be hidden. Some acts of bravery leave marks too deep to be erased. And the child, now a man, carried that truth forward, a beacon in a world that still struggled to remember humanity amidst cruelty. The runaway survived. The child survived. And through them, the story survived, a tale of courage, loyalty, and the unyielding human spirit. 9 months in a dark cellar became a lifetime of lessons. And though the world may never know his name, history will always carry the echo of the child who hid a wounded man and refused to let fear dictate his heart.